Hello everyone, my name is Miss Finley. I am the Jackson County Ag in the Classroom Coordinator. I am also the co-owner of Finley Feather Farm. And today we're going to talk a little bit about pumpkins, and then I'm going to show you a great activity that you can do within your lessons. So here I have the Pumpkin Ag Mag from Illinois. If you go to the website, you can find this there. You can order them or you can pick them up at your local Ag in the Classroom Coordinator. They'll have some, and then like I mentioned, you can order them. They'll be free, but you have to pay for shipping. And then if you want to, you can also just pull it up and just show it on like maybe the projector and talk about it that way, depending on what age group you have and whether or not having these in person, if it's really important for you. So this is something that you could do within this one. This is from this year. And then it talks about what pumpkins are, talks a little bit about pumpkin production within Illinois. It mentions the health benefits of pumpkins, and then some vocabulary terms. And then there's the pumpkin pie in a bag recipe, along with how new pumpkins are created, so different varieties, cultivars. And then history, Halloween, it mentions top producing states, and of course Illinois is a top producing state for pumpkins. And then how do pumpkins grow, and it shows you the life cycle on there. And then it talks about pollinators, if you could see that flower at the bottom, the pumpkin flower. And then on the back there are careers within this field, and it talks about some pumpkin, the largest ones and that are known. This is a pumpkin pie. It's the largest pumpkin pie. And I'm trying to think of where. I don't think it mentions where that pumpkin pie was at, where it was made at. But it does explain what all went into that. And so if you do the pumpkin pie activity, that would be great for you. And then this one mentions like the biggest pumpkin pie or pumpkins in record. And then you can find this with the lesson plans, the ag mags, and any materials you may need. You can go to Illinois Ag in the Classroom, and you'll see that little logo in the corner, and that's where you'll find all this stuff. But today I'm going to show you the activity for pumpkin get slime. So what is inside these guys, you're going to be able to make with your students if that's something you want to do. And I think that would be great for maybe if you want to tie in, if you want to go more specific on pumpkin vocabulary terms. And then there's the life cycle. That would be something that you could do along with the different cultivars, the different types of pumpkins. And this is the standard pumpkin I picked up. And then this is a pumpkin pie that I picked up. And so in my other video that I posted, it discusses a different way to do pumpkin pie within your classroom that might be a little bit better for this type of scenario that we're dealing with now, which is the pandemic. And you may or may not want to do the original pumpkin pie in the bag, which is fine. We can help you out either way. So you can go there and you can find out what I got going on that. If that's something you'd like to do, just let me know. And then we'll just jump right into this. And this is the pumpkin gut slime. So it does take a few things. It takes baking soda, clear glue, pumpkin seeds, orange mica or food coloring, water. I believe that is it. If I'm missing something, I will add it in as we go. But let's jump into it. So something else that you may also want to use in order for this to work is contact solution. So in total, you'll want your clear glue, your pumpkin seeds, your baking soda, whatever you want to use to color this. I don't have orange mica or orange food coloring, but I do have pink mica, which may or may not work out. We'll see how that goes. It's just going to show you kind of how it all works together. And then I also have water, and then I have the contact solution. Something else is, if you go to the store, you can also find the, how do I explain this? So it's orange glitter glue, and it's almost in a similar bottle as I found the just normal clear glue, but this is already, it has the orange in it and then it's glitter, and I was going to pick that up instead, but I figured save some money and go for the cheaper stuff. Maybe we could find the coloring, but I couldn't. But if that's something you want to tackle right out of the way, you can just two birds, one stone. You got your coloring and you got your glue all put in one, and it does mention on the bottle that it is great to use for the slime. So if you want to do that, just go ahead and add that in. To start off, we will need 5 ounces of clear glue. Now, if you look at your label, mine is 5 fluid ounces, the bottle itself. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the entire bottle into my cup. And depending on how you do it, you may also be saving money if you end up doing the glitter and the coloring that's already in the glue. If that's something you choose instead, you may also be saving money in the long run, depending on how expensive the orange coloring ends up being. Or it could just be the same, might be cheaper, I'm not sure. But there's different ways to do everything, so this is just going to be the way I try it. I'd say we are pretty well good. So after you put your glue into your container, and I'm just using a red Solo cup, then you'll add half a cup of water. Now I'm using 1/4 a cup, but I have to do that twice. And so far we have the 5 ounces of clear glue, and then we have half a cup of water. And now we're going to add a few drops, or however much you want, of the mica or coloring of your choice. Let me try to open this bag. I don't believe this is super strong, so I'm just gonna dump in as much as I can and then mix it around and see how well it does. Oof. So now I am mixing this all together, the glue, the water, and the coloring, and I'm just mixing it up with a standard plastic knife. And I think the mica really turned out well, so my pumpkin is just going to be a purplish pink. And I think another way you could possibly color it is if you wanted to take an orange crayon and maybe crush that up very finely onto like a paper plate or something of the sort that you can just move it and you can dump that in. I think a crayon could work as well for this project if you want to save a couple bucks, or if you just can't find the coloring. That was kind of my case, I could not find it. So I just went with this, and I think it's working out pretty well. It's not a orange pumpkin, but it is fine. So after that, we are going to add a half of a teaspoon of the baking soda. I can so that's half a teaspoon. There we go. There we go. I always like to add a little more, but that's fine. No harm, no done. Okay, so I'm going to stir that in. I'm going to make sure all the chunks are out of it before I add my pumpkin seeds. Now, even though this is a great activity you can do within your class, you can also, there's several out there, different activities that you could do, especially on the Illinois Ag in the Classroom site. And then there's the Beyond the Barn Door blog that they have. And when you go to their website, at the very top, you'll see a link that will take you to that blog. So you might miss it, but just keep an eye out for it. Now we're going to add as much or as little pumpkin seeds as we would like into our slime. And this is also something where you don't have to use pumpkin seeds. You can use beads as well. If you want to use like white beads or yellow beads, or you just want to use orange beads, that's fine. Now I'm going to dump these seeds out into my hand because sometimes they may not look like a perfect seed. There might just be some little pieces that are broken off, and I don't really want to add that into the slime. So I'm just going to do one by one. Any pieces that are big and solid that are going to be easy for me to see once they're in the slime, I'll add those in, and then everything else will just be used towards the compost. And now I'm going to mix that in as well. And this is definitely something you don't have to add in. You can add in the beads to represent the seeds. So after that, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of contact solution. Now my 1 tablespoon of contact solution is in. I'm going to stir this up. I can already feel it getting a little thicker. Now this is definitely a project you can split in between students. I'd say you could probably split this between 3 students, 2 at the very least. And you won't have to make nearly as much. You can kind of, let me show you if I can, or I can't, but you got a good idea of what was going on. Thankfully this is just slime, and I can kind of move it, manipulate it around a little bit and get it back into that cup. But that is something you should watch out for your students. If they spill it, you definitely don't want that to happen and make a mess. Alright, so I'm going to keep stirring this, and then I'm going to start playing with it in my hands to make until it stops getting sticky, and once it does, I'll come back. Hi! So I ended up having to add another teaspoon of baking soda because mine was just, I don't know if it was taking too long. I don't know what was going on, but it was still runny, pretty runny, so I went ahead and added that. The baking soda and eye contact solution are just ingredients that are, they kind of act like a polymer to activate the thickness process for this. There's different, of course, there's a scientific side for all of this, which could be explained and implemented within your classroom if you want to tie this into any of your pretty much your social, or not social, your science side for your students. Sometimes those can be pushed out of the way, but this is definitely a great activity. You can tie in multiple standards as well. And if you go to the Ag in the Classroom website and you look at some of those lesson plans, they provide you with what standards they can tie into. But getting back to this, your slime, if you can't see this already, of course that is very pink, and so something you should prepare yourself for if you decide to do this, but it's definitely a fun activity and they will definitely love it. Let me see if I can get some. As it's mentioned, it's pumpkin gut slime, so you can see the seeds. There you go. You can see it's going to be a lot like reaching into a pumpkin. Very interesting. But yes, so if you need to, and it's still runny, add in some more contact solution or add in some baking soda a little bit at a time, and then you just play with it until it's no longer sticky. I may end up adding a little more baking soda, but we'll see. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. We'd greatly appreciate it. I have slime all over my hands, so hopefully we can figure something out for that. And I'll add that into the comments. Some videos I'll add in that you can have your students watch. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun for you. Anyhow, of course there's different activities you can tie in as well, but I will add those videos in the comments. I will put this recipe into the comments and I'll add in what I did to like finalize it. If I add in some more baking soda, I'll put that in there as well. So it's going to be the exact recipe to make this at the very end. So if I add anything else, it's going to be in there. That way you don't have to go back through and add in extra stuff because it doesn't work or it doesn't work well. So until then, thank you for watching and we greatly appreciate it. Bye!